Okay, well, this is the beginning. This is the first one. This is Dad Deep Dive. I'm here with Jeff Springer. I'm Seth Westmoreland. We're part of a group of people called Suit Up Ministries. It is an organization designed to tell men how to get off the bench and get in the game and be the dad that God has called them to be. Jeff, we are here, standing here on the inaugural, this is really a trailer, but an inaugural podcast for Dad Deep Dive. Tell me a little bit about what your vision is for Dad Deep Dive.
Well, Seth, really, I'm just excited because, I get passionate about talking about.
You're very passionate.
Yeah, passionate about just whatever, but especially passionate to talk about how important it is to be the dad, to suit up, And so the vision of this, for this Dad U University, for 2.5 years, we did the in-person events. And we're going to do that somewhere in the future. But right now, we want to offer at a subscriber's convenience, in the comfort of their home and their own timetable and the busyness of their schedules, to log in to Dad University whenever, and to provide this library, plethora of speakers talking about various topics related to what it means to be a daily, active, devoted dad.
Right. And this isn't just going to be for people here in this community. This is nationwide. In fact, we're worldwide now, with Dad U's going on in Uganda and in different parts of the world that we're kicking off. Tell us a little about what your vision is as far as the people that we'll have on here that'll offer the different perspectives.
Well, if you've attended a Dad University, we've been blessed with all kinds of speakers, and I think the total is well over 20. So we are going to invite anywhere from 8 to 10 speakers per semester. And we're going to follow that Dad University semester course offering, so to speak. Again, wide ranges, talking about topics of, raising boys, raising girls, dads that are brand new dads maybe that are going to be a future dad, dads that
grandparents,
been there, done that, dads,
divorced
dads, and then we're going to, besides that, we'll talk about different topics related to, whatever life stage you're in as a dad.
And different aspects of what it takes to be that dad.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, the voices that you'll hear on this podcast are experienced. They are dynamic, from pastors to motivational speakers to former NFL players, but all of them have one thing in common, and that's their dads. And they know what it takes to be the great dad that God's called them to be. That's what our mission is. That's what our purpose is at Suit Up Ministries, and that's what we want you to get excited about as far as listening to this podcast. I know in the future we have several pastors that are going to be talking about their older pastors who have raised kids. They're now, one of them has 20-something grandkids, and the other one has, grandkids of the future. But I know that they're excited to talk to us about what it means, what it looks like after the kids leave your home and the business that entails. But we also have people that have kids right now, and kids that are little and running around and their hair's on fire. I was talking to someone just the other day, and he said, it was an older guy that I think maybe even we could have on the podcast at some point. And he said, what is something you would want to tell dads right now? If you had the ability to sit in front of a bunch of dads that are either about to be dads or in the middle of just the early stages of dads. And I said, enjoy where you are. Don't worry about making all the money right now. Don't worry about trying to get to that next place and lose focus of what is happening right now. I spent 10 years in coaching and teaching, and I missed 10 years of being the dad that my kids needed me to be, because I was 7 days a week just trying to make a living so that they could eat, all the while missing out on the first steps, the first words, the first everythings. And you can't get that back. And so what I would tell all dads is to embrace where you are, wherever you are, embrace where you are and enjoy it. And don't miss out on that because you're thinking about the next step.
Yeah, you can't make up for that time. You can't turn back the clock. Now you can do it better each time.
Absolutely.
You can learn from each child, or when you become a grandpa like I am, you at some point you realize, because you've experienced this stage more intently or intentionally as a grandpa, you may have missed that as a dad.
Yeah.
And to reiterate what you just said, don't miss that opportunity. I can remember like it was yesterday when I would come home from a long day and my kids were small enough that they would actually still run to the door.
Run to the door. There's nothing better than that.
I would, do anything to experience that again, or to have that feeling again, because there will become a time where they will not run to
weird,
the door,
and you don't even notice it. Like it's one day you go, "Hey, they didn't run to the door," and I'm just on the edge of my final child getting to that point where she's excited when I get home, but she doesn't run to the door like she used to, and it's sad, but. I made sure, especially with this last child, that was the case. I was going to enjoy every moment and honestly mourn the loss of those other moments like running to the door, but looking forward to the other greater things, because I have kids from 18 to 5 years old. So I'm running the gamut right now of all the emotions, but it is something to enjoy. And what we want to do with this podcast is help you to see all aspects and all age ranges and all looks into dad life, so that wherever you are, it touches you and it hits you, but also so that you can be looking forward. If you're a young dad, this is a perfect podcast for you. If you're a grandparent looking to understand how to better grandparent your kids, because grandparenting is a huge part of parenting. And like Jeff just said, you get to do something that your kids should be doing with their kids, but they're so busy and they're so tired. You get to show all the love. And the truth is, if you could go back and talk to yourself in a time machine and talk to yourself as a younger dad, say, hey, don't take yourself so seriously. Enjoy these moments. Laugh with these kids. Let them have dessert for breakfast or dessert for dinner one time, just because what does it really matter? Have fun. You always talk about play, and you talk about look for all the opportunities to play in life, but especially with your kids.
Absolutely. So these podcasts are going to serve as reminders of what matters most. They're going to be reflections on what we need to do, really, ongoing as being that daily active, devoted dad. And also reinforcements, because we are doing some things right, an affirmation of what you are striving to be. And if you're someone who's listening to these podcasts, then you are being intentional.
That's right.
And you're wanting to grow. And the one thing I want to always remind our listeners is that once a dad, always a dad. Dads never graduate. Dad University is a ongoing, lifelong learning experience. And my dad was 80 years old, and he was still trying to be a better dad. I was blessed to have someone who showed me not only how to be a dad, but also to be a grandpa. And you may or may not have good reflections. And those of you that are listeners may say, well, I didn't have that. Well, here's an opportunity to see others and to support you in this role, because when you have a child, nobody gives you an instruction booklet. There's no owner's manual.
If only they did.
Yeah, and every scenario every child is not exactly the same. No. And so as a dad, we have to navigate and adapt. But the most important thing is just be present.
Yeah, be present and be willing to listen to your kids. Don't always think that you have to be the lecturer, but sometimes just be the ear to listen to what they're talking about and to listen to what they're saying and be empathetic to the things that are going on. I know in my life, it's hard for me to be empathetic to the high school drama that goes on. But the reality is, in my kids' life, that makes a huge difference. That's their world right now. And so I need to be able to listen and to say, man, that does matter. That does. And then offer in some honest truth as the moments allow, right? Those teachable moments that as a parent you should always be looking for, where your kids are opening up and they're telling you about their thing. You listen, you're empathetic, you show them that you care and genuinely do care, but then offer those insights that will help take them to the next level. Because what everyone needs to understand is that when you are raising kids, you're not trying to raise good kids. You're trying to raise good adults, productive adults who will one day be raising their own kids. And if you have the short-sighted parenting model of trying to just raise kids that are good kids, you're missing it. You're shooting yourself short, because you need to raise good adults. That's what we need to do. That's what we're charged to do. That's what the Bible and the Lord teaches us to do. So So make sure that's your focus in all the things that you do. And again, don't take yourself too seriously. One moment is one moment, and they're important. If you miss it, don't beat yourself up, but make sure the next opportunity, and they'll come, you're ready for it. Absolutely.
These podcasts, this Dad U Online University is going to carry the same banner that we had in person, and that's a mantra is we're looking for that one man that makes that one change to affect the next generation.
That's
one
right.
Man, one change, one generation. And so we hope that we really hope that these sessions on podcasts, these course offerings, so to speak, at Dad University Online are something that's going to enhance and move you towards benefiting being a better dad, the best possible dad that you can be. Because if Seth, if we don't get a hold of our dads, we're going to lose our families. Mm-hmm. And if we lose our families, we're going to lose our country. And it just goes on down the line. So we encourage dads to suit up and be part of this Dad University online movement.
That's right. And yeah, join us. We have different tools throughout. You go to suitupministries.org and you can find different things from the locker room, which is a new toolbox that's going to be full of amazing resources that we have cultivated over 10 years of Suit Up Ministries, and we want to offer to you on a subscription basis, as you talked about. There are just countless ways for you to get connected that doesn't involve a subscription, specifically our huddles. If you haven't had a chance to check out the huddles, go to suitupministries.org, click on the huddles banner, follow those links, and you'll see all the huddles that are available in your area. We have online huddles, we have in-person huddles, whatever you're comfortable with, but we want to make sure that you're getting connected, because you can listen to all the content you want, but if you're not connected with other dads, with other families, it's not really going to make that much of an impact, because we grow in community. We're designed for community, and we need to, one way or another, get around other people so that you can see different perspectives, so you can hear different wisdom, because we all have our own different histories that bring about different wisdoms. If you're isolating yourself and trying to do it on your own, you're reinventing the wheel. Don't do that. Get around people. Huddles are a great way to do that, to be encouraged, to be strengthened, and to be brought up. So we'd encourage you to check that out also. Also, you can check out on Suit Up Ministries all of the great things that we're doing abroad in the world, in Uganda specifically currently. And we have plans for Brazil you were talking about, and in different areas around the world that are more to come. So if you're interested in that, check out there. We have blogs that come out weekly. This year, we are spending all year talking about preparing for ... right?
Yeah, well,
everything.
Well, you mentioned listening, and ironically, and empathy, because you talked about empathy in one of your latest 10 Minutes with Dad blog, which is available in the locker room. Yep. And it's excellent. 10-minute quick hitter, but direct. And then our blog this week was on Are You Listening?
Are you listening?
And the fact that you become legitimate in the eyes of your children, as you were talking about, when you listen.
Yeah.
And which is so hard for me as true confession. Which brings up a point. Listeners, don't think that we have it all together.
No.
We're in this struggle. We just acknowledge that we're in the struggle.
We just are behind the microphones and we have this great opportunity and we're excited about it. But the reality is, we're flawed and learning parents as well. Even though we've been parents, you've been parent for 28 years now, 30 years. How long?
32 years.
32 years. I've been a parent for 18 years. So we've got some experience, but there's a lot of times where we look at our own kids and go, I don't know anything. Yeah. I'm still learning a lot.
Sometimes I have to check with my daughter and my son and say, okay, tell me the truth.
Yeah.
Was I a good dad?
Yeah.
Because I'm telling these guys how to be a dad, and you got to check. That's part of it. I think we have to check ourselves every once in a while.
That's right, and apologize. Be vulnerable enough to say when you mess up. I tell my older kids all the time, hey, really, I'm really sorry that I thought that was a good idea back then, and now I realize that was a terrible thing, and I'm glad you turned out okay anyway. They get to see, I have the wonderful ability to raise an 18-year-old and a 5-year-old at the same time. And I'm a much better parent now with the 5-year-old than I was with the 18-year-old. And undoubtedly, the 18-year-old will go, well, I never got to do that. And I have to just say, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I thought it was the right move. And I realize now that this is I think the right strategy for raising someone.
Which I think that also raises the point of a dad that maybe needs reconciliation. Maybe there's been periods of time that you've been estranged from your kids and you think you've gone too far.
Yeah.
And so I think we will be discussing that topic as well. Dads that, wherever you are in your life, that need reconciliation. It's never too late to be the dad.
Absolutely.
And there's no time like today.
And if you are the dad and you're sitting in a situation where reconciliation is needed and you've been holding onto your pride and instead of grasping onto your humility, and no matter what happened, whether it was completely, you were fairly innocent of it, which we're never 100% innocent of it, but if you were very innocent of it, you're still the dad. So you're the one that needs to take that first step to do the apologizing, to say, I'm going to own up to my part of it. I'm sorry that this happened. Whatever that first step is. And again, we have people that are going to come on here that are going to talk about situations in their lives where they had to walk through that for real. And you'll see that the only way around that is through vulnerability and being willing to say, I'm sorry. Even though you know that they should apologize too, that's part of the swallowing of pride, right? I mean, Jesus came to this earth to die for us, not because he deserved to die, but because we did. And instead, he took that blame, he took that pain, that suffering, and he took it for us because he loved us. And as dads, we need to model that same type of love, that even when we don't deserve it, we should be willing to humble ourselves and say, I'm the dad here.
That's right.
And I'm going to take it. Because you mean more to me than being right.
That's right. That's right. That should be synonymous with be the dad.
Be the dad. That's right. Okay. Well, listen. This is what this is going to look like. You're going to have a bunch of people. We have audio and video versions of this. It'll be found again in the locker room right now. So we hope that you'll join up with us. One of these days, maybe it'll be available for free. We'll see how it goes, right? If we get some brand labels and brand sponsors, maybe we can offer this for free, and that would be fantastic. So we don't want anybody to miss out on this. And then if you do find yourself in a situation where you can't afford it, man, just email us, seth@suitupministries.org. You can reach out on suitupministries.org website. We'll make it happen. We have different sponsors and people who are willing to suit up for you financially, because we don't want anybody to miss out on great content that will help them to be the dad, especially in situations where stress and finances are possibly in the way. We understand that, and we want to make sure that that's not your problem. So talk to your church groups, talk to your men's ministers, talk to your pastors. Let them know about this. Let them know that it's a very moderate subscription price. You can get this for your church and share it with a whole church, and all of the men in your congregation can be blessed by it, no matter where they are. Yeah,
it could be a single subscription, or it can be a church-wide license.
Yep.
And so again, reiterate what Seth just said. We don't want this to be, we don't want payment to be a barrier, but we are trying to create another revenue stream for Suit Up Ministries, which is a nonprofit.
Yep.
So we can keep this message alive, not only here, but far.
Right. And right now that looks like this, and maybe someday, like I said, as the Lord blesses it, we won't have to, but you can always be a part of that also. If you want to go to suitupministries.org, you can click on the Give tab, and you can be a Suit Up team member just like that. It doesn't take much. And if you have any questions, again, hit us up, Seth@suitupministries.org. I'd love to talk with you and dialogue about what it looks like to be a Suit Up partner. All right, you got anything else? Any other words of wisdom before we wrap it up for this first week?
Seth, I'm just excited, like we talked about from the very beginning. And I'm looking forward to traveling down this dad journey with our listeners.
Okay, fantastic. Well, all right, that's all I got for today. That's all we have for today. Look forward to that first episode. If you have any questions, you can email us. You can contact us on the website, and we look forward to it.